So I want to ask a question about the Lions, and I want to read something to you real quick. Nothing crazy. And obviously the Brad Holmes press conference is going to be the big thing here. But that audio we played from Dan Campbell along with this quote, he said, "We've got nobody to blame but ourselves," finally. But I don't believe we're that far off. Oh, dear God, this again. There's a couple things we can do, and I just want to make sure we go after it. I'm not saying we weren't hungry, but let's get that hunger back. Okay, right now you've talked yourself into a Bavarian pretzel, Dan. I'm not saying we weren't hungry, but let's get that hunger back. If you have to get the hunger back, it means you don't have the hunger.
You're not hungry.
So you are saying you weren't hungry. And, quote, "We're going to bring in some guys to compete." That's the part I like. But here's what I wanted to ask. By the way, he gave himself an F for the season.
So, therefore, when we get on the Lions, we can't be criticized because the head coach said it was an F. So when we say this was a disaster year and you didn't make the playoffs and it was a setback, I don't want people saying, well, you guys are being mean from 2 to 6.
Well, good luck with that. I wish you luck. But
I'm just going to go back to coloring.
Yes. But I want to ask the question. Mm-hmm. What is the most important move for you this offseason? Mine might surprise you, but for me, he needs to hire, if he's going to keep calling plays, which I don't want, I want an experienced defensive coordinator. If he's not going to call plays, I'll keep Shepard, and I need an experienced OC. I need Dan Campbell to get the coordinator thing right, and preferably for him to return and be the CEO of this team, which is what he's best at. Okay.
No, I like that. I guess I'm a little more nuanced with. I'm looking at. You have to fix the 2 holes you have on your offensive line. You need a center, you need a tackle. Plain and simple. Because when the line is good and Gibbs rushes for 100 yards, you win. But when he's struggling, all the play action doesn't work because I'm not buying your play action because you can't run the ball. You saw, Mike, in the last 3 games, it was like in Super Tecmo Bowl when you call the opponent's play and they just jump you in the backfield. Like they knew the play. Oh, yeah, you're calling that. And they were tackling the running backs 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. You cannot have that and expect to win.
I think the interesting thing in here, though, just to go back before we go forward, that comment to me should end any discussion about injuries. It should end any discussion about scheduling. It should end any discussion about the officiating. Dan Campbell saying, forget about the "I'm not saying we weren't hungry," because right now, after that, when you say "but,"
yeah,
I know everything you're about to say is to tell me how
it's the opposite. I'm not racist.
We got to get the hunger back, and we're going to bring in guys to compete. It's everything we talked about. Mm-hmm. They got entitled, spoiled, cocky, arrogant, and delusional.
Fat and sassy.
So at least the head coach said it now. You're right. Mm-hmm. People will still be upset by it. But I think the last part is really interesting. We're going to bring in some guys to compete. Look, it's one thing if you have a need. They need a center. They need, most likely, a left tackle because I think Decker is going to be gone. Now, could you move Sewell there?
That's why I said a tackle.
Fine. But when he says compete, what jobs are actually up for competition on this team?
When you say compete, then maybe you're saying we can deviate from our kind of guys and, Lions culture, and maybe we just need to go get some killers. Maybe we just need to get some hitters. We need some people to go out there and take heads off. We need guys that may not be great people, but will help us win games.
Let me give you what I think is this hidden need. We all know center, tackle. No one could argue with you. I wouldn't try. Rico, I think they need a big time dominator, a D tackle.
They do.
Because I love DJ Reader singing for his supper today. That was great. Ah, golly gee, I love it here. Yeah, I bet you do. You're looking for that bread. But when you
he's on the Zedarius plan.
Yeah. Oh, please, I made a championship ring. Okay. But Tyleek is that space filler. Fine. I can't count on Aleem after what I saw this year. and every other D tackle is up for free agent. They're all gone. I don't want to. Roy Lopez, you could bring back, but that doesn't change. They don't. If I bring in and I make another expenditure in the interior of that line, and let's say Aleem is back, how did it hurt me? It didn't. You would have created a Philadelphia situation, right?
Right.
So I think that's a need people sleep on. And look, we want pass rushers too, but what happened down the stretch this year? Their front seven was healthy. They couldn't stop the run.
No, they couldn't. Pittsburgh couldn't run the ball at all until they got here.
That game, if there was ever a game where that moniker gets used, that would be the one. I just don't use it.
Like, wow. Like, are the Steelers running another 45-yard touchdown run?
Yeah,
wow.
Yes, they are. Kenny, a few ticket texts, if you'd be so kind, please.
Something's wrong.
Something is wrong here.
We need new coordinators, both offense and defense.
I'll be shocked if you got two of them. Shocked.
We need big people on both sides of the ball. That's from Matt.
Okay.
I need someone, anyone, but Dan to be calling plays. We need a new OC.
I think that's where I've arrived is, okay, we got a test balloon of it. I'll pass. Let's get you back to quality control and being the CEO. Get me an OC. I'll live with Shep. Learning curve, year 2. Fine. But there's no scenario if Dan's calling the plays that I'm going to have Shep learning curve as a DC. No, at that point, then you better turn your defense over to a veteran, a guy that knows what he's doing, and I know there's a level.
Yeah, for a second I thought, oh, there's an OC out there, but it quickly was, no, it's not going to be Kingsbury.
Oh, God, no.
Once again, you talk things through.
He's good for 1 year, and everybody figures him out, and then they crumple him up and throw him in the garbage. Plus, he likes mobile QBs.
Well, that's when little Mikey hopped on the shoulder and
gotcha.
Chair.
What are you going to do, get Goff on a rollerboard?
Well, and then you got to get a mobile QB. Don't want those calls.
No, we do not.
This one may have been from my phone. You could have Bozo the Clown calling plays. It does not matter. You need to add to the O-line.
Agree. I'm saying the coordinator matters. It matters in player selection. It matters in how you allocate resources. It's getting another pair of eyes. It's getting another voice in the room, getting someone to come in and put their stamp on this. They've been too insular. Let's get an outside opinion here. I think it could really help, especially because it is going to be not impossible, but next to impossible to simply snap your fingers and have a top 5 O-line next year. I want outside opinion. That's what I'd like to see. We'll go to Casey, Birmingham, 97.1. Case, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, fellas. So I think we might have left out one of the teams that would be the next championship team, and that would be the Fair State Bulldogs.
Oh, dear.
Thanks, Dave, for reminding me of that. No, I mean, they'll probably
all
win
their
another
players are in the portal. What the hell's going on? Poor guys.
I mean, how about Trinidad Chambliss?
I know.
Sorry, Kenny.
I know. Don't be sorry. Kenny deserves it. He's been spoiled with Georgia football.
But on a real note, it's the Pistons, and it's because, I mean, Cade right now is what, I think up to like top 3 in odds to win the MVP. And if you have a player playing at that caliber, and as long as we add somebody around him, I mean, we got a shot. That's how the NBA works. You know, there's no other sport where one person can make the difference that they can like they do in the NBA.
Yeah, and that's where
he's playing so well, and he's making his teammates better.
You need another star. That's it. Like you're not going to win it with one. You're not.
Yeah, we need a true, just a scorer, somebody that when say Cade, they got a defense lined up to where he's having trouble with it. We need somebody that can be his outlet, or we can take him off the court for a few minutes that can go out there and just fill it up. You know, I mean, we're not going to get somebody like KD, but a KD-esque person that can just.
No, but you're at a point in the development curve of this team that is the type of move you've earned a right to make. Not that player specifically, but no, I think it's clear to anyone with a brain, if you want to win a championship, and let's say you're over the age of 27, 28, you got a couple years of prime left, Detroit should be on your radar. You're going to win. You're going to have teammates who try. There's a culture that's built here. There's a city starving for a winner. And last I checked, our money spends as good as anybody else's. Now, if you're interested in South Beach and BS, hey, God bless, go. You're not going to win nothing. But I think the Pistons have earned the right to make the move because I think players will want to be here.
No, I think so, Mike. They actually like each other. They're a good team. And, yeah, I do think you're just one move away from really owning the East for a year and then being very competitive next year when everybody else comes back. I don't think it'll all fall apart.
No, I think the only teams that are kind of built for longer term, I mean, obviously the Celtics get Tatum back. They'll be in the mix. I don't think Giannis will be in Milwaukee much longer, so they're dead. Right. Halliburton comes back. Look, it's not the same team. Miles Turner gone. He's off an Achilles. I'm downgrading them. Philly's transitioned away from Embiid into a guard-heavy deal. Wow, VJ Edgecomb's really good. But, like, it's you, it's the Knicks, it's the Celtics. And you have every right to say we're the best. Because the Celtics are always going to have cap issues. They're always going to have tax issues. You don't have that.
Yeah, but they'll find a way out of it.
Maybe. But Jaylen Brown's got to get a haircut. You can't be staining other people's jerseys with your spray paint hair. You can't do that.
You'll go see Noah.
I'm not saying he's using the Bijan. There's just something going on there.
As far as the Lions, well, I mean, because I was like, maybe they should go after somebody, but I forgot.
Say it next. Say it next. Look what. Why don't we do this? What are you going to tell the people?
Just about the Lions and the draft and the defensive line.
Okay, perfect. Next. Timely, see? 97-1.